Gold prices fell midweek, interrupting an historic rally, but the precious metal is by far the best performing investment this year. It's the Barron's cover story this week. Ben, gold is up 27% in just 4 months. What's fueling all this buying?
Uncertainty. I mean, when you have no idea what's going on, you want to buy gold. Gold has been there from the beginning, and it tends to go up when people are worried about things. Are they worried about inflation? Sure, it goes up. Are they worried about the changes to the world order? Well, you buy gold. But this rally actually started a bit ago. It really got supercharged in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine and the U.S. froze Russia's central bank assets. And that made people who might have adversarial relationships with the United States say, you know what, we need to put some of our dollars elsewhere. And they've put it into gold, and others have followed. You have citizens of many foreign countries have been putting money into gold as well, and that has just caused it to shoot higher.
So it's always tempting to chase something that's doing well. That's usually not actually a good investment approach. What do you think? Can gold keep on going?
Well, I think it was what we saw this week was both a blow-off top, which is where you get, the trend of the market is going like this, and all of a sudden it goes like this. And gold kind of had that happen. It looks like it has peaked, but it might not be the peak. There's still all these uncertainties out there, but investors are looking to other precious metals, including silver, which has really lagged gold this year and for a long time actually, and could be, people could be putting money there as a way to sort of play this precious metal trend.
So for investors who are not traders, it's really important to pull back the lens and look at the long-term story here. You go back 25 years and gold has actually beaten the S&P 500, which I would not have predicted. But you go back 45 years and stocks have crushed gold.
That's right. I mean, gold was fantastic during the 1970s, which I vaguely remember, things about, oil embargoes, inflation, et cetera, et cetera. But then it really just tanked in 1980 when Paul Volcker, he basically brought inflation down and the stock market took off, and gold did nothing for a very long time. It was really with the financial crisis and central banks having to go ahead and print money to bail out their financial systems that we saw gold really start to rally again. And that's just something to think about, is that they have these very long cycles. So buying gold here after it's gone up so much, you have to appreciate the fact that it could go nowhere or down for a long period of time before it goes up again.
All right. So for investors who do want to jump in, Jacob, you can buy a security on the stock exchange that holds gold, or you can own a mine or a company that digs it out of the ground.
Exactly. The big ETF that people like to track is the ticker GLD, and it just invests in
easy to remember.
Yeah, exactly. It's just almost you just drop the O. In terms of companies, the way their earnings work, when the price of gold goes up, we'll call it 1%. The earnings and the stock prices usually should go up more than 1%. That hasn't exactly been the case in the last several months. When I look at a chart of GDX, which is a gold miners ETF where you own gold stocks, that chart versus GLD has far outpaced GDX. I think that these gold stocks have room to catch up as long as the price of gold stays stable enough.
And Ben, you looked at an interesting gold company.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gold ETF. Okay. It's like GLD. The one thing that makes it interesting is that you can actually go ahead and exchange your ETF for gold rather than cash if you would want to. How that's done, I have no idea. Do they actually take a brake truck and bring it to your house, or do you have to actually show up at the vault and a couple bags and some strong people to help you? But you can do that as well. So that's called the Sprott Physical Gold Trust, PHYS.
And how all that works is a little bit above my pay grade, but I also just want to mention real quick, Newmont Gold. I think people should know stock was up 4% after earnings, and they're returning a lot of money to shareholders, so that's a good sign.
Megan, let's dive into your inner economist. Gold and the dollar often have an inverse correlation, and we've seen that at work recently.
It's true. There's no official relationship between the dollar and gold. There hasn't been since Nixon. But generally speaking, yes, when the dollar is weak, gold is better. When the dollar is stronger, gold, not so much. And a lot of that is true, and it is holding up in this case. It is kind of interesting because I feel like we've seen a real interest in this because they're foreign investments. So it's one of those situations where we've had a lot of uncertainty. Foreign investors are sitting there trying to look for safe havens. That could actually increase this trend a little bit on steroids. So it is one of those situations where we're watching very carefully. But remember, gold is also, moving and shaking for a lot of different reasons. So don't put your money on it totally.
Alrighty. Ben, Bitcoin bulls refer to it as digital gold. Sometimes we see it acting like that, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, I call that digital hooey. Bitcoin has a lot of uses. I mean, it's a great way to speculate. It's a great way to move money if you need to. But if we look at it recently, what it's really been doing is not tracking gold. It's been tracking the Nasdaq. It's very much almost a tech play, and it's a speculative play. And so when you think of it, you have to think of it, why are you getting in? Am I getting in because I may want to move money that isn't traceable, or do I want to be able to speculate? And you got to ask yourself that question.
All right, we got to go, but real quick, do the charts say buy Bitcoin or not?
Charts say Bitcoin is going up. It broke 94,000. Its next resistance is 97. It could be retesting those highs at 107.
All righty, thanks, guys.